Take it gently. Just be happy, my brother. Be happy, my sister. Particularly because it's Friday. Just don't carry the stress into the weekend. And as you're slowing down, remember that Ghana itself is not slowing down. This morning, Chairman Wuntumi's legal battle, it remains in the headlines, with the latest twist around plea negotiations in the Exim Bank case. We're talking about that deeply and in detail this morning. The controversial Ministers of State Excellence Awards. From the podium, it has found its way to Parliament, with calls for a probe into how awards are given and whether money played any role. All of that is in the package this morning. We'll take you to Salaga as well. The missing newborn baby story continues to raise serious concerns. 2 midwives have been arrested. Police are questioning hospital staff. Families across the country, they are asking how a baby can go missing. Anybody with information or whereabouts of the missing baby is being encouraged to contact the nearest police station. And this is a call coming from the Savannah Regional Health Directorate. We'll talk about that briefly this morning as well. Also this morning, we're watching the rains, the flood concerns, the pressure on public services. All of that is in the package this morning. And of course, the World Cup mood. It has taken over conversations everywhere. There is South Africa. Yesterday, they lost their opening football game of the 2026 World Cup. And already the internet is not looking friendly to them as well, at all. The memes arrived before some fans had the time to process the result. Everywhere you look, somebody has got a joke. Somebody has a screenshot or a cheeky comment ready to go. It looks like a coordinated teasing campaign against the Bafana. And you and I both know why. Hey, they are brothers and sisters in Africa. But because of the way they are, we did not support them. Yesterday, they lashed them. But welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We're live also on all our social media platforms at 3FM 927. Join us there. Let's get interactive. Let's talk about Mother Ghana. We'd love to hear from you, so share with us your thoughts and your comments. We'll be glad to share them with the rest of the world. It's a good time to begin the paper review, starting with the Informa newspaper. And this morning, this is what the Informa newspaper is reporting on its front page. NDC leadership race heats up. Oponfosu confirms intense consultations amid growing calls to lead the party. Also, Zoomlion NADMO lead massive anti-flood cleanup. Shock poll, 43% of Ghanaians justify military coup. It comes with the pictures of President John Dramani Mahama and Professor Isaac Owusu Mensah. The story is on page 3 of the Informa newspaper. 43% of Ghanaians justify military coups. Also, minority demands anti-flood task force report. Comes with a picture of Stan Dogbe and tackling land guard menace. Muntaka calls for special courts. You get these stories if you get a copy of the Informa newspaper this morning. Now to the Daybreak newspaper. They say freedom in truth. The front page, tension at Salaga Hospital over missing baby. Nurse caged. Also, move out. GAF warns retired soldiers occupying military apartments. And in Brim North, DCE targets jobs development as new era dawns. Citizen files RTI at GRA NLA 6 lottery gaming revenue records. Now to the front page of the Custodian newspaper. Your job programs have failed Ghanaian youth, Oporen Nkrumah tells government on page 2 of the paper. Jerry Ahmed advocates climate resilient urban planning to curb floods on page 2 of the paper. 2 women petition Mahama over Amwako Hene's misogynistic attacks on Akosia Menu. That story is on page 3 of the Custodian newspaper. And my loyalty is to Ghana, not Mahama. That's according to the Speaker of Parliament, Alban S.K. Bagwen. These are the stories you get on the front page of the Custodian newspaper this morning. And now to the News Center newspaper. They say detail-driven news. These are the stories they are reporting on their front page. Ghana's jobs first conversation is long overdue. Ghana's jobs first conversation is long overdue. Great Coal Akosimbo's fire caused by aging cables. That's on page 9 of the paper. War on digital fraud. White paper proposes joint fraud command center. Real-time intelligence sharing, among others. It comes with the picture of Shaibu Haruna. He's the CEO of Mobile Money Fintech Limited. That story is on page 6 of the News Center newspaper. You also find that BlackRock commends AT Ghana for supporting SA returnees. US celebrates 250th anniversary in Accra. The Daily Post newspaper, it says that Apia Kubi withdraws as lawyer for Wontumi in Summerboy mining trial. That story, we'll be getting into it this morning as well. Also, Deputy Minister of Defense Broja Jemfi on why Afari Military Hospital is still not ready for public use. The detail is on pages 3 and 7 of the paper. We'll get the detail as well. Afari Military Hospital is a symbol of the MPP's wickedness, lack of conscience and hypocrisy. That's also on the front page of the Daily Post newspaper. You know that the Afari Military Hospital, it was in the news yesterday and the day before yesterday. It still is in the news this morning because the Daily Post is talking about it. Now to the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, the most authoritative newspaper. It says that cocoa farmers to get 70% price guarantee. Government pushes law to improve earnings, according to President John Dramani Mahama. That's on page 12 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, but captured on the front page of the paper. Also, drivers battle floods, potholes on Malam Kaswa Road on page 12 of the paper as well. Chairman Wontumi enters plea bargain, talking about the Exim Bank trial. Also, the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, it says MMFL reiterates commitment to fighting digital fraud, captured on page 20 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Now to Ghana's favorite newspaper, the Daily Guide. These are the stories reported on its front page. Oporen Nkrumah outlines 5-point youth employment strategy, captured on the front page, but the detail is in page 6 of the paper. Court grants Abronya leave to travel on page 3, and Wontumi seeks plea bargain in Exim Bank fraud case. It comes with a picture of the embattled Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP, Bernard Entry Buesiako, aka Chairman Wontumi. Also, the front page, 2 nurses arrested over missing baby at Salaga Hospital on page 6, and Parliament can reconsider bills after passage, according to the Speaker of Parliament. This morning, Punch Africa, it says that Roads Minister blames vandals for street light theft on page 7 of the paper, and we are considering absorbing NAPCO trainees into GRA setup. Ricketts Hagen is saying on page 7 of the paper. NDC marks 34th anniversary, calls for discipline on page 8 of the Punch Africa newspaper. The Ghanaian Point this morning, it says that Colonel K.S. Pia takes over as NIMO's Director of Operations in National Security Reshuffle. National Security Coordinator Osman Abdul Razak is pictured on the front page of the paper, as well as Colonel K.S. Pia, NIMO's Director of Operations. Also, Chairman Wontumi seeks plea negotiations in 30 million cedis Exim Bank fraud case. Speaker reject Functor's official argument, says Parliament can still review anti-LGBTQ plus bill before presidential assent. On the front page of the paper as well this morning, a Kosomo substation fire caused by insulation failure. Investigators rule out sabotage. One more story on the front page of the Ghanaian Point newspaper says that your 50 million cedis arrears will be paid within 1 week. Education Minister assures picketing uniform suppliers. The Inquisitor newspaper this morning, it says that after paying 173 million cedis to NLA, loud applause for KGL. These are the stories captured on the front page of the paper. Also, historic NPA achieves triple ISO certification. Comes with a picture of Godwin Eduji Tamaklo, who is the chief executive of the National Petroleum Authority there. And we'll get the details as well in the program. If we talk about the ISO, this is what we mean. The story says that the National Petroleum Authority has achieved major milestone by securing certification under 3 internationally recognized ISO standards in a single assessment exercise. We'll get the details as well this morning. Squatters, criminals hindering flood control project, according to Martin Kwekweji Mensah Kosa. If you get a copy of the Inquisitor newspaper this morning, these are some of the stories that you get to be able to read. caused by installation failure as investigators are ruling out sabotage. You know that the fire occurred at Gridco's Akosomo substation on April 23, 2026, and that disrupted power supply and damaging critical power infrastructure. The energy minister, he set up a committee to establish what caused the incident and recommended measures to prevent recurrence. So the report being discussed this morning, it says the fire was caused by installation failure linked to aging infrastructure, not sabotage. You know that when the incident happened, a lot of speculations, assumptions and all of that were rife that this could be some sabotage. But the report is out. And on page 5 of the Ghanaian Point newspaper, this is what it says. An investigation into the fire outbreak at the Akosomo substation has established that the incident was triggered by insulation failure resulting from the aging condition of the facility, with the committee ruling out any possibility of sabotage or deliberate human interference. The findings were formally presented to the Minister for Energy and Green Transition, John Abdullahi Jinapor, on Thursday by the investigative committee, which described the incident as a technical and structural failure rather than an act of wrongdoing. Well, chairman of the committee, Engineer William Amuna, explained that the fire originated from the changeover section of the low voltage panel where electrical cables installed several decades ago had deteriorated significantly over time. He noted that the aging infrastructure, which dates back to around 1964, had become increasingly vulnerable due to prolonged use. According to him, the cables had grown brittle, leading to insulation breakdown that caused abnormal electrical current flow within the system. And he further explained that once the failure occurred within the metal encasement, it created a fault that allowed uncontrolled current movement. The committee disclosed that the initial power supply automatically tripped at 311 amps after detecting the fault, but a second transformer immediately took over and continued supplying power into the affected section. Engineer Muna said the second transformer was configured to trip only at 450 amps, which allowed the fault condition to persist and generate excessive heat. He noted that the heat buildup caused the insulation material, which is plastic-based, to ignite, leading to the outbreak of the fire. And the situation was worsened by the interconnected nature of the substation, where multiple control cables and panels were closely packed, allowing the fire to spread rapidly across the facility. Now listen to this. He stressed that the investigation found no evidence of human interference, describing the incident purely as a result of equipment failure and aging infrastructure.